Hello and welcome to my new YouTube channel where I share with you guys most of my techniques that I use to make dresses, skirts and tops from very thin, very fine yarns and threads, mostly cotton and silk. There are some of my works, you've seen those on my short videos probably, and on this channel you will find patterns and explanations how to make those things. And in this video we're going to talk about the most basic technique, which is making chains, simple chains, and I will share my tips and tricks how to make them work with thin yarns. The technique is pretty much the same, but there are tips and tricks, so please watch this and let me know if you liked it. How to make a chain. This is my regular yarn. This is 1500 meters in 100 grams, so as you see, it's pretty thick. And this is my regular hook, which is 125 millimeters. How we make chains from a thick yarn? We would leave this tail, start from here, make kind of a loop and just start crocheting. Okay, nothing fancy. And you can easily count those chains. So pretty basic, right? With thin yarns, you can also start from this tail. However, as you see, since the thread is very thin, it's a little bit harder to count those stitches, to count those chains. So when you need to make a pattern, let's say like this one, this is my crop top that I will be showing you on this channel, and see this first row, these first chains are so difficult to count. For example, I need to make a swatch for my upcoming project. It's like a small square that I will wash and dry and see if I like it, if I like the color, if I like the feel, etc, etc. Let's pretend we are making this swatch from some other thin yarn. So I would leave this tail and start making chains, let's say from here, like from the kind of from the middle of the thread. Why? This is my tail, this is my longer tail that goes into my bobbin, and I will start from here and crochet to that side. Let's make a loop and go that way. Basically, it's the opposite way from our regular crocheting. Why am I doing that? Why am I going the opposite way? This trick will work only for the first row. Okay, so I made some chains. I didn't count them. The last chain, I'm not finishing it. I'm just making a huge loop so it doesn't go off. I will just leave it here, and this is my tail. And let's say I want to make these squares and count them. I will count them and I will see how many of these squares I will need for the whole thing, for the whole top. See, squares are easy to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And these chains are not easy to count. I don't want to count such small things. So what I'm gonna do, this is my tail, and I will go into this one, into my very first stitch, make 1, 2, 3 plus 1, skip the first one and go here. So I made my first square, and then one chain from the previous row I want to skip, So I just keep going, one chain, one skip, one double crochet, and so on and so on and so on. Let's see how many do I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
14.
16. Okay, I've got 16. And obviously I don't have enough chains. Still, I'm not counting them. And I go back to this very last chain that we left like open, and I make some more chains because we still have this tail. It's long enough to make more chains, and I make a big loop. It will stay here, and I will crochet some more squares. So I had 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So 20 is enough for me for the swatch. Like when I make something big like this top, in this thing I will have 142 squares, but for right now, I'm just making a swatch, just like this one, okay? So I don't need too many squares. I've got 20 squares, just like I wanted. But as you see, I have a few extra chains. What should I do? Just pull this tail and undo unwanted chains. And the last one, I will just pull through, and that's it. Maybe this technique, it's not so obvious that you need this technique for a swatch, but trust me, when it comes to a bigger thing, when you need to count like 142 squares, trust me, you do not want to count those chains. So with this technique, with leaving this tail and starting from the middle, you can avoid counting chains and just start making squares, which are so much easier to count. Now question, how long should this tail be where we start from? Like how long, meter, 2, 3, 4, we don't know yet. So there's another tip. If let's say you want a swatch around 10 centimeters, and maybe you want a bigger one, but I'm making really small swatches because I've been working with such yarns forever and I pretty much know what to expect. But let's say 10 centimeters or 20 centimeters. So you multiply those 10 centimeters by 5, and so you go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 widths. And you start from here, and here you have your tail, and here you have your ball, or in my case a bobbin. And I start from here and I go down to the opposite side from my bobbin, not to the side where my bobbin is, but to the opposite side. Okay, so I hope that helps. If you have any more questions, please feel free to comment. And in my next video, I will share another tip how to make this first row to be more comfortable to crochet. I'll see you later. Happy crocheting and bye!